Hello, I am here with your weekly tarot. This is for the week of June 7th to the 13th. I had to think about that for a moment. Couldn't remember if it was the 13th or the 14th. That was the Sunday. And I have a little trick that I used to remember what day of the week it was, and that is June 15th is my sister's birthday, and it's a week from Tuesday. Little quick math there. This is going to be a big week, guys. Why do I say that? Well, we are almost through the end of spring, almost at the first day of summer. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, that means we are coming up to the longest day of the year. Now, where I live, it is fairly northerly, which means the sun doesn't set until well after 10 p.m. and it is up well before 6 a.m. And on the longest day of the year, we have only about 8 hours of darkness, and that is not full darkness. When the sun sets, we still have easily another half an hour to 45 minutes of light, and then in the pre-dawn, we have the same. We have about 45 minutes to half an hour of pre-dawn light. So that means sunset complete dark after 11 p.m. and it's getting light out around 5 a.m. I know the further north you go, I have a cousin who lives up in Whitehorse, which is in the Yukon, which if you're American, you have to drive through Yukon to get to Alaska because they are parallel to each other. I think Anchorage, Alaska might even be slightly more south compared to Whitehorse. Just a little geography. You're getting to know a lot about my family already today. Oh, and my ears are burning, so I wonder if someone's talking about me the same time I'm talking about them. So yeah, we do have the summer solstice coming up. It is on June 20th, but the days are much noticeably longer. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, then it is the complete opposite. You are having your shortest day of the year coming up. But this week, we literally only have a very short respite right in the middle of a Mercury retrograde. Is there such a thing? Absolutely there is, because we have the new moon in Gemini happening on Thursday. Don't forget the sun is in Gemini, Mercury is in retrograde in Gemini. And then on June 11th, on Friday, we have a solar eclipse in the sign of Gemini. I've done a little bit of reading about this eclipse. I'm going to forewarn you, long video. We've got a lot of eclipse talk happening. We're going to pull some Wisdom of the Oracle cards. We are going to use the Revelations Tarot to get the tarot messages for the week. But this eclipse, in some of the reading that I have done, I'm going to start shuffling. So let's get the Oracle messages for the week while I continue to talk about what's happening cosmically. So yeah, we've got a doozy, at least it is for me, of a Mercury retrograde happening. In the readings that I've been doing for this, not so much the new moon, the focus has really been on the solar eclipse. Now, I have to double check for my region how well this is going to be visible, but apparently it is going to be a complete solar eclipse, so that will mean a shadow falling across the areas that will see it. It'll fall across the earth. Usually it's only for a couple of minutes, and please do not look directly at the sun. You will damage your eyeballs. So there are plenty of different ways to try and see it through pinhole cameras, using various goggles. If you have welder's goggles or access to welder's goggles, Those are a fantastic way to view the solar eclipse. I have done that one in the past, and it's really super cool to get to see. But this eclipse, eclipses are known for bringing things back from the past that if we haven't closed them out or completed them, it wants us to do so, and has a habit of bringing in people who were initially sent to us to learn a lesson, and we didn't. It may be more of we didn't learn our lesson, and that's why they're coming back, and if we let them back, we're going to be taught the exact same thing. Same goes for situations, and there have been a couple different dates and timeframes that I have seen be thrown out in terms of how far back do we go to look for these lessons. It could be a situation that is repeating, or it could be people coming into your life that are coming in to try and teach you a lesson. And if you permit their behavior, if it hasn't changed, then you may be learning that lesson again or getting that lesson again. Now, if it is a situation, same thing applies. In the meantime, try to keep your wits about you. While devices are notoriously breaking down for people, it doesn't matter if you have Gemini in your chart at all. This retrograde has been playing absolute havoc with my phone. That could be because I am a Gemini, and guess what we like to do? We like to talk and we like to communicate. And that's why this particular Mercury retrograde is, we're having a lot of trouble with our communications. We're not getting our point across. Even though we think we're being clear, we're not. We've got a bit of a disadvantage here, and that's where the whole things coming from the past may be even more frustrating, because we hadn't communicated clearly, or we are not communicating clearly to get the message across. So do whatever you got to do to make sure that your communications are very clear. Back everything up. Literally 2 days after the Mercury retrograde happened, I don't know how my phone got wet, but somehow I ended up with water underneath the top screen, and it had to be replaced, which is not what I need right about now. I am preparing to get my house ready to be listed on the market, and I kind of need my phone to be able to do a whole pile of stuff, including trying to find a realtor. So if you go back to what was happening in either May or November of last year, our key dates for lessons that we could be looking, what did we need to be shown or learn between May and November, or May and November, I should clarify. There's that Mercury retrograde affecting this Gemini mouth. The reason why is May of last year and November of last year is when we had the two eclipses. Eclipses always come in pairs. So last year's eclipse pairs, 2011 and 2003 are all dates that have been thrown out there. I have not done the research, I will fully admit. I've been a little busy doing a lot of painting. I haven't looked at it, to be honest. So check out what those are. I'm sure there was something very significant that was happening then in the cosmos, which is happening now, which is why those are relevant. That always seems to be the reason. And there could even be something along the lines of there was so many months or so many cosmic calendar events happen in between those dates. That's why they are potentially relevant. And that's really what's going to be moving us and shaking us as we build up to the end of this week. You know, those energies are really going to be ramping up by the time we hit Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll be able to manifest very strongly as long as we can communicate clearly. So when you're doing your manifestations for the new moon on Thursday, make sure you are very clear, specific, and very, very detailed, because with the Mercury retrograde going on, you don't want to have anything left up to interpretation by the universe, because communications are at a very high risk of getting tangled, or there could be miscommunication. So be explicitly clear, use an abundance of caution when it comes to your language, when it comes to your manifestations, because this new moon, whatever you are trying to bring in, whatever new intentions you are setting, whatever your new manifestations are, it's going to get that extra kick from the eclipse the following day. So into the reading, I've got 8 cards, and I really strongly feel that this first card, a change in the wind, is the theme for the entire week, for the entire collective. No one specific zodiac sign, group, place is going to be more affected or less affected by this. There is definitely a change in the wind, and change is coming, especially if you have learned whatever karmic lessons you needed to learn. If you've done that and you've cleared that energy, then there is change coming, and it will be good change. If you have not learned that lesson, you could be in for a tower moment, which could mean not positive change. So that is really strongly the energy that is going on throughout the course of the entire week. Now, because the new moon and the eclipse are happening near the end of the week, we're going to have those energies carry out throughout the weekend and into early next week. So if you do miss doing your manifestations on Thursday, you've got Friday, Saturday. The moon will move out of Gemini sometime Saturday and into the sign of Cancer. Now the moon loves being in Cancer, so you can expect some emotions to really start coming up. But in a way, it's almost comforting because the moon likes being in Cancer. But no, on Monday, unlike the last couple weeks, we're going to have a little bit of peace. And I think this is the prelude to how much the end of the week is going to end up being moving and shaking and rocking and jolting us. Now, with the eclipses, there's also the potential for severe weather. So keep your eye on the sky, not just for the lack of the moon and for the eclipse. You never know when crazy weather is going to pop up. But Monday, we're not really seeing it. We're going to have some very peaceful, calming energies that are coming in. Now, on Tuesday, we've got a deep knowing. And this card to me has the feel of, with the owl, there's a lot of wisdom in this card. So maybe we have learned our lessons and we are taking what we have learned and moving forward. Now, this deep knowing also has a feel of intuition. There's a lot of intuition in behind it. So use your gut. Sorry, itchy nose. For some people, that is a sign that they're onto something. But anyway, Tuesday, there is potential to really be putting your wisdom into a practical use or bringing it up to the forefront. On Wednesday, which is one of my least favorite days of the week, believe it or not, we're going round and round. Those are when the lessons are coming in. This is the day before the new moon and 2 days before the eclipse. And we feel like we're just going round and round. We're not getting anywhere. We just keep repeating the same patterns and same cycles over and over and over. Now on Thursday, We're going the distance. We're near the finish line, and we are potentially having to sprint. We're not sprinting to catch up. It's that the finish line is in sight, and we're going to go for it. And if you're not going to go for it, now's the time to peel away. And if you're going for it, go the distance, finish hard, finish fast, finish strong. And that is actually very, very good energy when it comes to your manifestations, because that is, again, the energy for Thursday, go in the distance when it comes to your manifestations and setting your intentions with the new moon. Now on Friday, going by the book. Not my favorite thing to do, even though I used to throw the book at people in my former career in law enforcement. I had no problems throwing the book if it was deserved. But playing by the rules on Friday might be a good idea, especially if you plan on viewing the eclipse. Going by the book, again, there's a bit of a feel in this card of wisdom. Elephants are known to be quite smart, and they actually look at humans the same way that humans look at puppies. That was just an interesting fact that I have remembered about elephants. But elephants are quite smart, and they're actually known and revered for a lot of deep intelligence and deep inner wisdom, as well as a little bit of good luck. Now, there is a super huge coincidence, although I really don't believe in coincidences. Yeah, reference that comment about my career in law enforcement. The card number there, I don't know if you can see it, is number 11. And Friday is June 11th. So no mistake, that card was meant for Friday. Now on Saturday, co-create. Whether that is in a group with another person or just your spirit guides, guardians, whomever you call upon, co-create. It's all about creating with this energy of the new moon and the eclipse. And call in that help to get there if you need to, and use that help of somebody very knowledgeable, very wisdom. Now, there is so many synchronicities with these cards. We've got the cheetah, which we saw on Thursday, and we've got the owl, which we saw on Tuesday. So I really feel that by Saturday, we're going to be taking whatever we are learning throughout the course of the week, and we're going to be applying it when it comes to creating and building that something new. Now, there is a face in the egg here, and to me, that is an idea that is waiting to hatch. It's waiting to burst forth. But on Sunday, we should take our hints though, and when it's time to go, it's time to go. Whether that is time to go from a relationship, maybe it's a job, maybe it's your home, maybe it's where you live. Know that it is okay to leave things, and that when it is time to go, it's time to go. And the figure, I'm not sure, it's starting to get a little bit darker in the room here. The sun has gone down. I have a large old school in behind the back of my house, and at this time of night, the sun is in behind the school, so it starts to get dark in the front half of the house. But the figure here is wearing a set of transparent fairy wings, and she's not looking behind her with sadness or grief about having to go. She's quite happily almost dancing towards the end of the walkway. And far off in the distance, there's a door. And she's got the stars behind her. So it's not a sad ending. It's not a sad leaving. She's not looking back at anything, and it's time for her to go through that door to the next adventure. There's a sense of going the distance with this card. Time to go. You know that it's time, and you're quite a bit at peace with it. Now we'll get a couple of tarot cards. Let's see if we can get 7 cards for the week, please. We'll see what comes up. These cards they're hit and miss when it comes to their level of chattiness. There we go. I haven't used them in a while, and I just over the last couple days have really been feeling like they need to talk. Now, luckily, I'm not sitting at a table because that card would have gone completely flying out of view. All right, so we do have 7 cards out. Ooh, okay, so off the bottom of the deck, I'm just going to run through these a little bit quicker, just because we're already at 20 minutes. So off the bottom of the deck, we do have a number of wands energy, and we do see a counterpart within the week. But the major arcana card that we have off the bottom of the deck is the Wheel of Fortune. And that is, things are starting to move in our favor with the Wheel of Fortune. And because it is major arcana, it is major energy. We do have one more major arcana coming up here. We then have the Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands, and 9 of Wands. Trying to find the right spot for these here without getting the glare of the light. So the Queen of Wands is very creative. She's warm. She's loving. The Knight of Wands is a very fast-moving energy, but can do so with a very dramatic flair and could signal drama on the horizon. And the 9 of Wands is a sense of healing. Now, eclipses can often talk about a sense of healing as well. The 9 of Wands is when the wounded warrior picks himself back up again, heals his wounds. And the 9 of Wands really gives me a lot of Chiron energy. Chiron is an asteroid that is named after a warrior. I believe it's a Roman warrior who was supposed to be immortal. He was struck in battle by an arrow that had been infused with a poison that is continuous for infinity. It releases its poison for infinity. Now, when Chiron is direct, we are healing. When Chiron is in retrograde, we have a tendency to be in those wounds. And right now, Chiron is direct. So there is a lot of healing, and again, with the eclipse coming in, eclipses, like I said, can bring some healing. So we may be wanting to heal and really kind of push forward, move forward. There's a huge sense of urgency behind it, but know that the Wheel of Fortune moves very slowly, and there is no lack of coincidence that we have the World card, which is the end of the major arcana, and it is the end of a cycle as well. Now, with the Wheel of Fortune card, this is a number 10 card. 10s are the end of a cycle. The wheel, obviously a cycle. The world, another cycle. It's a circle. They're both circles. They never end. They're always moving in some fashion. Now, in order to get into the upswing or the good times with the Wheel of Fortune, you have to go through the downturn. And that is where the cycle is coming to an end. That downturn is closing out, and it is time to start getting into the upswing of things. Now on Tuesday, there is a bit of a sense of waiting. We've planted seeds, we've been tending to them, we've been feeding them, nurturing, caring, and now it's time to just wait a little bit for them to grow. There can be a sense of impatience with this card, and there is a sense of impatience with the Wands energy and the Wheel of Fortune moving so slowly. We're getting a little impatient. It's like, okay, you know what, we've been in this downturn forever. I want to start shaking things up. I've done my healing. Let's go. Let's do this. And the Seven of Pentacles is like, whoa, whoa, let's hang on just a little bit. We're not quite there. There's a bit of a rush to get to the finish line. I know we did talk about it with the Oracle cards. There is that kind of time to sprint coming in near the end of the week. But Tuesday's not the day to do it. On Wednesday, we're feeling a little trapped and a little boxed in. Now, this could just be the midweek doldrums. This could be like we are feeling like we need to escape. Now, a lot of us have been in and out of lockdowns, in continual lockdowns, depending on where you are, and we're feeling trapped. I know I am. I have such itchy feet, and I mean that in metaphorical term, and the fact that I need to go wander. 2 years ago at this time, I'm recording this on June 6th, which is the D-Day remembrance. This is when D-Day happened in 1944. 2 years ago, I was in France, very near the beach, at the memorial at Juno Beach, which is where the Canadians landed, and I was at the memorial there. And it's been 2 years since I've traveled anywhere. After I got home, I didn't expect, I don't think anybody saw this coming, that we weren't going to be able to go anywhere, including your friend's house. So yeah, we're feeling a little trapped. We're feeling like we've been stuck in a box and stick a sword in us. We're done. But the one good thing with the Eight of Swords, this is just something that is going on in our minds. We are not literally trapped. Now on Thursday, remember how we wanted to sprint and go the distance? And I said we had a counterpart. Well, there's the King of Wands to go with the Queen of Wands that is in the background. Now the Queen of Wands, when the tarot was created, queens were usually seen to be standing behind their king. And the queen is kind of in the background right now to her king. This is just simply energies. So before anybody freaks out and like, whoa, that's not how things work anymore. You know what, I get that. These are energies. This is the feminine energies are taking a little bit of a backseat for a more masculine energy to give us that boost, that ambition, that drive, that craving for change. And this is the energy that is going to get us there. Now on Friday, we've got the Six of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles brings in a generous helping of balance, where things have maybe been feeling a little off kilter. Now this is Pentacles, so this could be relating to your paycheck. Maybe it's payday on Friday for you, and it could be something as simple as that. But there's nothing dramatic about the Six of Pentacles. There is, however, enough to go around and have a little bit extra. So maybe you're feeling a little bougie on Friday and you're going to buy that bottle of wine to go with dinner to kick off the weekend. And whether it's beer and pizza, wine and pizza, it's nothing extravagant, but it's balanced with a helping dose of generosity. And that could be enough to fuel a little bit of warm feelings. Maybe the little bit extra is coming from the Wheel of Fortune that's playing out in the background. We've got the Two of Pentacles on Saturday. So this is a bit of a reminder to don't overdo things, because you may be finding that you're juggling your pentacles on Saturday if you do go overboard and get the filet mignon, and in reality you only won $5 in the lottery. So this is more of a reminder to keep things in balance, keep things in check when it comes to your spending over the course of the weekend. Now on Sunday, there's got to be one day with a little bit of a negative connotation. We saw over the last 2 weeks, usually it was the first 3 days of the week that had a lot of confrontation involved in it. Well, on Sunday, we are seeing some Five of Swords. Now, the one good thing about this particular card is because it is swords, it involves things that is going on in our minds. So it's just an internal conflict that's going on in our head. And this could be you're arguing with yourself over what do you do next? What is the next step you take? Particularly when it comes to your manifestations or things that you've been calling in, and you could have options in front of you depending on your situation, and now you're conflicted, but it's an internal conflict. With the help of the Queen of Wands, do so with a sense of compassion and get creative. Don't forget, when you're feeling really trapped on Wednesday, get creative. The Queen of Wands does talk a lot about creativity. So when it comes to being really caught up in your mind about what you're conflicted about, it's going to be different for every single person. Get a little creative, and maybe you just need something that brings in some passion and joy. Maybe you need a creative outlet when it comes to expressing yourself. Apparently our words and devices are going to be highly susceptible to not getting any creative outlets across. So writing, if that's the way you get creative, grab a pen and paper instead of on your laptop or your phone. If writing's not your thing, grab your camera. Right there. Right there. Trying to do the reverse. I'm not used to doing this with pointing out stuff in the background. That's my camera. I love photography. That's my jam right there. If I could do photography full time, just go out and explore, I absolutely would. And maybe that's part of what I call in for the next phase of my life now that I'm no longer in law enforcement. And I can honestly say, I really don't miss it. Sorry, guys. I don't miss it. And I really enjoy doing the creative things now. So use your creativity to bust out of your rut, to get out of your own trapped feelings. Now, again, that's only in your mind, and any conflict that you have, it's not an outward conflict, it's more of an inner conflict. And the Five of Swords often is actually picking up what is left after the battle. So it's not necessarily the battle itself. And that also talks to the Nine of Wands that we've got going on in the background when it comes to healing. Is you've been through the battle, you've got your wounds, it's time to pick up what is left, and it's time to get creative to bring in the new and what is next, and be creative. That's the one word or the two words that are really jumping out at me right now with all of this. There is an ending to this cycle. There's a bit of like, ooh, do I gun it and go for it, or oh my God, I'm stuck, I'm not sure, I can't see which way to go, I feel trapped, trying to juggle things, and then you get that shot of energy, and then you're like, oh, is that too much too soon? Do I pull back, hit the brake? Try not to get too caught up in that on Sunday. Sundays are supposed to be a day of rest. Now, the Four of Swords talks exactly about that. And in reality, all you have to do is put one of those swords down from the conflict, and then you get your Four of Swords, which will allow you to rest. So I'm going to leave it here. That is your Oracle cards and tarot for the week of June 7th to the 14th. Now, you are very likely to see me back, whether it's for the new moon or the eclipse, or maybe both. I haven't fully decided. We'll kind of see what's happening at the end of the week. Like I said, trying to get my house ready to sell. There's a lot going on with that. I've got other stuff going on as well, including the fact that Friday, yeah, that eclipse is on my birthday. So who knows? I may be having plans on Friday. Don't know. Right now, the long range forecast is looking like rain on Friday. So where I live, you guys, if you're in my region, Lake Superior-ish area, we may not be able to see the solar eclipse if the weather does not cooperate. Hopefully, wherever you are, you will get a chance to see it. Just do so safely. And for those of you who are in my region, let's hope that the weatherman is wrong, because let's face it, they don't have a good track record for long-range predictions, and that we will get to see it as well. So I'm going to leave it here, and I'll talk to you soon.